Just say ready in the chat box if you're ready so that we can start. Okay. So what is the topic today? What is the topic? Client server programming. Okay. Very simple topic, very interesting topic. Right. So you just need to know few basics. Okay. So did you go through those basics, my friends? I asked you to just check few terminologies. Okay. Okay. So how many of you did not go through? Can you just say me in the chat box who has not gone through? Who has not gone through? Just say me in the chat box. I know you will not say. Anyways, okay. So let me quickly ask you the questions. Okay. So first of all, what do you mean by an IP address? What is the job of an IP address? IP address. What do you mean by an IP address? Quickly, so that we can proceed. What do you mean by an IP address? This one should be simple, isn't it? Anyone put that in the chat box? What do you mean by an IP address? By the way, can you hear me? Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. So Rajesh, darling, I did not ask you the full form of IP. I'm asking you what do you mean by IP address? Everybody knows, right? IP is Internet Protocol, right? So what do you mean by IP address is what I'm asking. What is this address? Okay. And now what do you mean by a port? Okay, so Ganesh, IP addresses are the identifier that allows information to be sent between devices on a network. Oh my God, Ganesh, no man, I didn't ask you I don't know, I did not understand what you told exactly. So Devarsi has told, right? No, which identifies a particular device, okay, on a network. Yeah, exactly. So Chandrika exactly told the right, answer that identifies a device on a computer network or a network, isn't it? Okay, so it's good, it's right, right? So it basically identifies a particular computer on a network. Okay, now so let us learn IP address, port address, okay, MAC address, not port address, just a port. Okay, MAC, right? So then what else? Yeah, so let us learn these things first, right? Okay, guys, so if suppose, say for example, in your office, okay, in your office or in any office, in your house itself, you have internet connection and you have say 5 computers, correct? You have 5 computers. Are you understanding, guys? Are you understanding? Are you able to visualize? Assume you have in your house, you have 5 computers used by 5 different people. Okay, yeah, and that is true. These days it is happening. Everyone, in everybody's house, minimum 3 laptops are there, correct? No, so everybody are taking up online classes, office work, and all that, right? And you're using one internet connection, and fine. So how much of internet connection you use, that doesn't matter. Okay, so if you suppose you have 5 computers, so how do you identify? How do you identify a particular computer? Don't tell me that, sir, my use HP, my friend use Dell, and my father uses Dell, and my sister uses Apple, and all those things. No, right? So how does your programs in your computers, right? How how can you identify a particular computer on a network, right? So see here, let me write it. This is one computer, okay, and this is one computer, right? And you'll have one more computer, okay. So this is one computer, okay. So hope you understand what I'm writing, right? So it is keyboard and the CPU, so don't get confused, right? So you have so many computers which are interconnected with each other on a network, isn't it? They're all connected. So how do you identify these computers over here, right? No, so you identify these computers using an IP address, isn't it? 192.168.1.100 or 192.168.1.101, okay, and this would be 192.168.1.102, okay. So 192.168.1.103 and so on and so forth, right? So these are basically, okay, so you can consider this as a network called as network connection via LAN to every computer. Yeah, correct, Ankur, you're right, absolutely right. Okay, so this can be considered as a local area network, a LAN, and and these IP address will actually, this entire thing is called as a LAN, local area network. Okay, it's a local area network, and each computer on this network or each device on your network would be identified by a particular address called as an IP address. Is that clear? Is that clear? There are two kinds of addresses. One is IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, IPv6 is Internet Protocol version 6. IPv4 is Internet Protocol version 4. So I'm not going more detail into it. Okay, so this is IPv4, which has 4 octets, 1, 2, 3, 4 octets. So we are not interested in all those things for now. Okay, just understand that IP address is a unique address given to a particular computer, so that we can identify a particular computer on a local area network. Is that clear? Did you understand so much? Is that clear? It is an IP address. Hello, is that okay? Okay, by the way, how do you identify, what is the command to check for the IP address on your computer? What is the command you will use? Okay, can you tell me? Okay, so what is the command you will use, my dear friends? One second. Let me show that. How do I check the IP address? I'll go to system preferences. Okay, system preferences. I'll go to network, and in network I have my Wi-Fi connected. Guys, can you see, are you able to see my screen? Okay, are you able to see my screen? Okay, did you see that? So Wi-Fi is connected to Subhash and has the IP address of, what is my IP address? What is my IP address? Guys, can you tell me? Okay, it is 192.168.1.103. Did you see that? This is my IP address. Hey guys, are you able to see this? Hello, are you able to see this address? Okay, so let me check if that is the same address. Okay, so right, so let me use the command prompt. Okay, so ipconfig get ifaddren1. Okay, yeah, it is, this is my interface. Okay, so this is the command to actually get my IP address, and it is, it is seen over here. This is using command line. Is that clear, guys? Hello, is that clear? This is how you find out your IP address. Okay, okay, so having said that, is that any doubt in this? Any doubt in the IP address? Any doubt in the IP address? No. Okay. Now, what do you mean by MAC address? IP address is done. What do you mean by MAC address? What do you mean by MAC address? Any idea? What do you mean by MAC address? Anyone? Any idea? What do you mean by a MAC address? Okay, what is the full form of MAC at least? What is the full form of MAC? No idea. No one? No one in the class? MAC address. No one? Anyone? At least one? Okay, media access control, right? But what do you mean by, okay, what do you mean by a MAC address? Anyone? 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 Okay. Okay, so media access. No, okay, full form is okay. I know we are all physical address. Correct. It is Chandrika. I think Chandrika is very good at networking. Right. It is called as a hardware address. Okay. But what is that? What is that? What is that MAC address called as? Okay. Old students don't answer. Okay. Old students must not answer. Only for new students. Okay. Now, okay. So let me ask you one question. Let me ask you one question. That is why I asked you to actually go through this. Okay. This is LAN 1. Okay, so this is LAN 1. Okay, no, this is LAN 1, right? Bhuja, you are right. Okay, so Ankur is telling unique identifier assigned to a network interface controller. Correct, that is also right, right? So network interface, unique identifier assigned to Nick. Hope you are not copying from Google and answering me, right? Hope you are not, are you copying from Google? Because it looks like as if you're copying from Google and answering me. Okay, it doesn't make sense. No, okay, if it is not, it's really good, right? So answer me this question, my dear friends. So this is LAN 1 and this is LAN 2. Okay, and if suppose this computer, I'm removing this computer from this network and coming, I'm replacing this in LAN 2. Okay, so will the IP address of this computer change? I'm bringing this computer to this place, to a new LAN. Will it change? Why won't it change? Why do you think it won't change? IP address can change, right? Who knows? It depends on the subnet mask that is used in LAN 2. Why won't it change? It will definitely change. The IP address may not be the same. Okay, when you actually, okay, bring this computer to a new LAN, its IP address will definitely change. Understand this, please. Okay, like its IP address will definitely change. Okay, no, because this LAN would be working on a different subnet mask. Okay, so I'm not going more into subnet mask and all that. Okay, so say for example, this is 198.168.1. Okay, it would be this one. This would be its subnet mask, and it is starting from 192.168.1. Okay, I'm not going more detail into it, but this LAN would contain, okay, so 192.168. Say 2 dot or something, right? No, it depends. All the computers connected to this LAN must have this address 192.168.2 dot something else. Okay, now when you get this computer, okay, to a separate LAN, automatically the IP address would definitely change. Okay, no, so IP address depends on LAN. Okay, no, so Meda, there are a lot of things involved over here. it is quite difficult for me to explain everything for now. Okay, so that is why I just asked you to go through few basics. Okay, but and this is not really needed, Medha, for now for Python, but I'm just giving you some information. Okay, so that you'll have some basics. Okay, so discussing networking itself is a PhD thesis, right? It's a very huge thing. Hope you understand, Medha, right now. So it depends on a lot of factors, Medha, right? So for now, let us just assume now that, so when I actually get this computer from this LAN to other LAN, what happens is that the IP address will definitely change. This will contain 192.168.2 dot, okay, some 201 or something like that. Is that clear now? The IP addresses changes, isn't it? This is the same computer. We'll call this computer as A. I've just got this computer, like from one building to other building. I've just got it. I just understand this, but okay, no, the MAC address of this particular computer will not change, is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, the MAC address of this particular computer cannot change. Okay, so if you want to identify a particular device, no matter where it is being, even if you take your computer from here to America, okay, what does not change is its hardware address, which is also called as your MAC address, which would be, present in your network interface card, NIC, network interface card. Do you know what do you mean by network interface card? Okay, do you know what do you mean by a network interface card? You can just Google it. Okay, you will find where you connect your Ethernet cable to your laptop. You know that port will be there to connect your Ethernet port. The port here, which will look like this. I'm bad at not like this. You'll connect your Ethernet port here, no? The Ethernet wire you'll connect to this port. Okay, so this will be, a kind of like this. This is your network port. I mean, this is your network interface card. Okay, it'll be hardware where we connect to the LAN. Exactly. Okay, so I don't know if you have noticed it. So just Google about network interface card, right? So your MAC address would be given as part of this. It would be given over here. Okay, and MAC address will identify your computer unique. It would be unique and it will identify your device. Okay, so your MAC address will not change. It would be permanent for a particular device. Is that clear? IP address can change based on where your computer is, on which LAN it is, on which network it is, but MAC address does not depend on your network. It is for a particular device. Okay, so each and every device will have a MAC address which will be present on your network interface card. Okay, so more of that I'm not discussing. Okay, you can, let me see if I can figure it out for you over here. Let me see if, one second. IP if config, if config, if config. Can you see? This is my IP address, my dear friends. This is my IP address, and I think Ethernet address. Okay, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this must be your hardware address. Is that okay? This will be your hardware address, something like this. Okay. So having said that, okay, so let's not bother because we are not working on it, but I'm just trying to give you these information. Fine. Is that clear with MAC address and IP address? Okay. Now, having said that, what do you mean by a port? Yeah. What do you mean by a port? What do you mean by a port? What do you mean by a port? Okay. Any idea what do you mean by a port? I'm not talking about the hardware port and all that. I'm talking about the software port, right? So what do you mean by a port? Virtual point where network connections start and end. Ganesh, darling, it is too technical. So can you make it very simple, darling? Okay. So virtual point where network connections start and end. It looks like, you are writing a book on networking. Okay, so let us make it more simpler so that everybody will understand. Even a layman must understand. So what do you mean by a port? Okay, so fine. Let me no, sir. I find it on Google. Don't find Google. That's what now you're doing it all this to read it on Google. Okay, so don't read on Google. So understand. I'm explaining it to you. So listen to me over here. Don't do parallel things, no. Okay, right. So a point where we send and collect info. Your Ankur is asking me the question mark. Okay, so you tell me the question was asked to you. Anyways, okay, so let me explain. Let me give you an analogy first. Okay, so let me okay guys, enough of doing googling and all that. Okay, so high time. So listen to me now. I'm going to explain. Okay, so what happens here is that, okay, if you don't know, you can say don't know. Why do you want to do Google and post that Google's answer? Okay, so anyways, so let me give you an analogy. Assume this is an apartment. Okay, assume this is an apartment. Okay, so it has 3 floors. It has 3 floors. Okay, and each floor has 2 houses. Okay, each floor has 2 houses. This is balcony. Assume this is balcony. Though it does not look like balcony, assume these are balconies. Okay, right? Now, so this is the road. This is the road. This is the road. Okay, this is the divider. Okay, to make it look like a road, this is the divider. Okay, now, okay, so there is a house here where Ankur is staying. Okay, there is a house here where Subhash is staying. Okay, this is Ankur, this is Subhash. Okay, and there is a house here where Tara is staying. Okay, there is a house here where Shruti is staying. Shruti is staying. Okay, and here is a house where Ganesh is staying, and in this flat, who is staying? Priyanka is staying. Okay, now, don't this building will be identified by one number, isn't it? Yes or no? This building will be identified by one number, or yes or no, right? This will be according to the government, the respective government, right? No, so I mean, whichever area it comes, right? So this would be identified. This entire building would be identified by one number. Okay, no. So don't say, sir, it would be identified by Lakeview Apartments and all that, right? So I know it would be given a name, Lakeview Apartments and all that, but that is only for the people to understand Lakeview Apartments, right? No, but actually this building would be identified by a number, correct? Say, for example, it would be, say, 1024 or something, isn't it? 1024. Okay. Now, when the postman comes and wants to deliver a letter to Ankur, okay, no, so is it possible for him to just drop it in 1024? Okay, so there are 6 houses over here, 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? No, he does not know whom to give, correct? No, so what happens is that, so each flat over here, okay, would be given one number, isn't it? So Ankur's flat would be given a number of 1, Subhash KU's flat would be number 2, okay, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then 6, right? So in the letter or on the letter, okay, so what would be written as address? As number 1024 bar 1, isn't it? So what is that one indicating? That one is indicating a particular flat in that building. Did you understand? Did you understand? This one, okay, is nothing but identifying the flat number. If suppose now I want to identify Shruti's house, how do I identify? Tell me, how do I identify? Okay, I will identify it by saying 1024 bar, okay, tell me 4, correct? No, this is how I actually identify Shruti's flat, correct? Now, my dear friends, did you understand? Okay, so in this case, this is like your IP address. This is like your IP address, and this number is like your port number. This is like your port number. Did you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is your port number. Okay, it means, now let me come to the computer terms. Okay, let us keep this analogy over here, and let us now come to the computer terms. In computer terms, what happens is that you will have one computer. Okay, you will have one computer, right? So this is monitor. Okay, trying my best to make it look real. Okay, this is keyboard, okay, with all the keys. Okay, so don't count the number of keys and tell me that it is wrong. Okay, now this is CPU. Is that okay? This is CPU, the old CPU and all that, right? Now it is there like this, right? Now, having said that, now, okay, let me write a mouse also. Okay, so mouse is also there. Okay, sorry, mouse is connected to CPU, right? So mouse is also there, right? Now, my dear friends, what I want you to understand here is, listen to me very carefully. Okay, guys, mouse is connected to CPU or to the monitor? Where is it connected to? I'm confused now. Okay, it is CPU only, right? Okay, fine. Okay, now tell me, on this computer, that is on the CPU, there is an operating system, yes or no? Is there an operating system running on this computer, my dear friends? Isn't it? Okay, there is an operating system running. Now, in that, how many processes would be running? How many processes would be running? How many processes? How many processes would be running? Can you tell me? Guys, any idea? There would be many processes, isn't it? I can only write multiple processes, right? Yesterday we wrote multiple threads also, isn't it? So there can be many processes running, right? Now, how do I identify this computer? How do I identify this computer, my dear friends? Tell me. This computer is identified using an IP address, isn't it? This computer is identified by a IP address, correct? Okay, let me write the IP address over here. Let me write an IP address, that is 192.168.1.103 or something. Okay, this computer is identified by this IP address. Okay, now there are multiple other computers. Okay, there are multiple other computers which wants to talk to this computer. Okay, say like this. Okay, so these are computer, this is computer, this is computer 1, this is computer 2, and this is the main computer, assume. Okay, now computer 1 wants to talk to this computer, correct? No, as well as computer 2 also wants to talk to this computer, means you want to exchange data. Okay, hello, are you understanding what I'm saying? Hello guys, are you understanding what I'm telling you? Okay, now based on what it will it connect to the main computer? It will use the IP address, isn't it? It will use the IP address. Am I right? It will use the IP address. Okay, but when I say it wants to talk to the computer, what does it actually mean? It means that in this on this computer there is some processes running, isn't it? There is some programs running, correct? No, there would be process 1, there would be process 2, correct? This is process 1 and this is process 2, correct? No, so computer 1 wants to talk to process 1 and computer 2 wants to talk to process 2. Did you understand what I'm saying? Okay, in the same computer there are multiple processes running. In this on the same computer there are multiple processes running, and computer 1 wants to talk to process 1 and computer 2 wants to talk to process 2. Did you understand? Did you understand or not? Yes, no? Guys, I cannot shout. Yeah, please tell no. Understood or not? Okay, now how do this computer tell the operating system that I want to talk to the process 1? Okay, one thing is guaranteed, that it has to come connect to the computer, and that is using IP address, no problem. But IP address is only identifying the computer, but within this computer there are multiple processes, no? So I want to identify that particular process, right? Okay, so to identify the process there is a number given as port number, right? No, so I would say it as the port number is 6000, and the port number used by process 2 is 5000, and so on and so forth. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is called as a port number. If the IP address is identifying a computer, then the port number will identify a particular process in that particular computer. Did you understand? Did you understand, my dear friends? Hello guys, did you understand? Okay, now tell me, if computer 1 has to connect to or wants to talk to this main computer, how should he actually talk? He has to talk like this: 192.168.1.103 bar 6000. He has to say to which process. Similarly, computer 2, if he has to talk to process 2, then he has to say 192.168.1 okay 103 bar 5000. Did you understand, my dear friends, what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying now? Okay, so this is called as a IP address and a port pair, a pair of IP address and a port number. Clear with that? Okay, same like this. Is it matching with this analogy that I gave you? Is it matching with the analogy that I gave you, my dear friends? Okay, so did you understand this? What do you mean by a port number? So can you tell me what will IP address identify? Can you tell me what will IP address identify? IP address will identify a particular computer on a network, and port number will identify a particular process in that particular computer. Is that clear? Did you understand? Okay, so I'll repeat once again. IP address will identify the computer, and port number will identify a process on that computer. Clear? Is that clear? Hello guys, did you understand? Oh, right. Shall I clear this? Shall I clear this? Okay. Yeah, I'm clearing this. I'm anyways sharing the video with you guys, so don't worry. Okay. Now, having said that, okay. Now, so I hope you understood what you mean by IP address, port number, and MAC address, right? So coming to the next thing, what do you mean by a protocol? What do you mean by a protocol? Guys, what do you mean by a protocol? Okay, so protocol is a set of rules, right? Say for example, let me tell you. Okay, so what is a protocol that you will follow while you want to talk to your mother? Okay, what is the rule? I mean, will you use the same method to talk to your father as well as your mother? Tell me. Aksha, the love and respect. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, love and respect, but still, probably boys are more close to their mother, and girls are more close to their fathers. Might be. I mean, most of the time, right? Right. So it is most of the time it is like that. Okay, most of the time. Okay, so that is called as a protocol. It means the set of rules that you actually follow to communicate with a particular person, right? No, so yeah, no, mom a bit friendly. Okay, yeah, so that is what I'm saying. So protocol is nothing but a set of rules that you actually follow to communicate with a particular person, right? So, or in networking, it is the protocol is a set of rules that you actually use to talk to a particular computer. Are you understanding? Okay, it is. So there are multiple protocols. It means, okay, you have something called as TCP, you have something called as UDP, you have something called as DHCP, okay, you have something called as HTTP, okay. So there are a lot of protocols like this. So FTP, okay, you have FTP, okay. So there are a lot of protocols, okay. And I'm not getting into more detail about it, but I just want to give you one more small information because it is giving me my old memory. Can I tell you? Can I tell you, my dear friends? And just I'll interrupt. If you are interested, I'll just give you my old memory. Okay. So I must thank my first company's first manager for giving me a project on networking, because my first project was on networking. And if my project manager wouldn't have given me the first project as networking project, I wouldn't have learned networking at all. Okay. I was a complete fresher. Okay. My first company, the first day my manager was a dash fellow. It means that he was a very 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 strict guy, very very strict guy. Okay. I was a fresher. I still remember on the very first day I thought there would be training, but there was no training. On the first day he got me a switch. Okay. No, you know what do you mean by a switch? Okay. It is a device for networking, right? No, so it was basically a switch. Okay. Thanks, Sahiti. Okay. So got the switch. He kept it in front of me and said, Subhash, you are supposed to implement a DHCP protocol on that particular switch. I don't know if you have heard about this switch. Okay, switch is not the bulb switch that you use in your house. Okay, switch is a big layer three router. You call it as a layer three router. Okay, big device. He asked me to implement DHCP protocol on the switch. Okay. So imagine my situation, being from an electrical background with only the knowledge of C and data structures, and I have completely no idea about networking. And he asked me to just implement DHCP, and he told that you have to do it within 2 months time, and he was very strict. And with after say 5 to 6 months, I got my very first job. And he was so scary that the way he was telling me that if I do not implement DHCP protocol on this particular switch, then I would be actually fired from the company, right? So sometimes that kind of why the rocket goes very high in the sky. My dear friends, why the rocket goes very high and very fast in the sky? Because there is fire at the back, isn't it, my dear friends? If there is fire at the back, not only rocket, even you will go very high in the sky, right? No, so that kind of fire he put me and on my back. Okay. And that is when I had to learn networking, to the core. And I learned networking. But yes, if you ask me the question, did you implement DHCP protocol? Not completely. It was only a partially I was able to do completely, because it was a big project, very 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 big project. Okay. And after recruiting me, then they had plans of recruiting some experienced professionals, and then came a networking expert of almost 15 years experience, and he continued with where I left off. And but this my first project gave me a lot of learnings to me, my dear friends, right? No, so always keep in mind, whenever you join a company, your first project will be the difficult project of your life, and after that every project would be just like water. Correct? No, so don't get worried when your first project is difficult. It is difficult for every human being, right? The first project is always difficult, but the learning would be tremendous. You will learn a lot of things. Okay, so that is when I learned about all these protocols and all that. So if you want to learn more about networking, there are plenty of books. If you're interested, I will actually put that in the WhatsApp group. Whatever books I have learned the best. I have used the best books to learn networking. And I trust me, my dear friends, there cannot be anyone on this planet who can really give you very good book suggestions on networking, other than me, because I have read so many books. So if you want, I can definitely give you. Okay, so it all depends on you, because it should not be of waste. You want it, I can actually give you. Okay, so having said that, so hope you understood what you mean by a protocol. Okay, I'll give you in the group, don't worry. Okay, so guys, did you understand what you mean by a protocol? Okay, so it is basically a set of rules. Okay, having said that, so primarily I just want to discuss about the two kinds of protocols. Okay, one is called as the TCP protocol, TCP or IP protocol. It is very famously called as TCP by IP protocol. Okay, and the UDP protocol, right? Now, any idea what do you mean by TCP protocol? What is the full form of TCP? Any idea? Any idea? You can Google and find it out and tell me. Or if you know already, you can tell me, because even if I ask you a question, you will actually find it from Google, right? No. So what is transmission control protocol? Okay, very good. You guys are awesome. What do you mean by UDP? Okay, user datagram. Quickly. Protocol, right? Guys, if you know, you can say user datagram protocol. Okay, right, cool. Okay, now if you want to come now, listen to me, my dear friends. Cool. Okay, these are two famous protocols used to communicate between two computers. Okay, these are very two famous protocols that are used to communicate between two computers. Now, so the method used by TCP is called as three-way handshake. It is called as three-way handshake, the method, this method used, the algorithm used is called as three-way handshake. Three-way handshake. Okay, and this is used for, okay, or this is called as connection oriented protocol. What is it called as? Connection oriented protocol. Connection oriented protocol. And UDP does not follow any kind of three-way handshake. It is mainly used for connection less, okay, connection less, or it is called as connection less protocol. Okay, now what do you mean by this? Now if you want, if there are two computers, my dear friends, listen to me. If there are two computers, okay, and if you want to make sure that if they are communicating and if they are connected together, right, it means, now listen to me very carefully. If suppose, okay, you want to make sure that whatever the computer one sends to computer two must definitely be received. Are you understanding? Okay, whatever you feel that, if I am connecting with both of them, it means if computer 1 and computer 2 is connected, it means that there must be no loss of data. It means that computer 1 will send a data to computer 2, and the operating system or the networking stack has to make sure that the computer 2 has definitely received it. Okay, and only then he can actually again communicate back with C1, right? There should not be any loss of data, and both should be connected with each other. So such kind of protocols or such kind of connection is called as connection oriented protocol. And for this, we make use of something called as TCP bar IP. Is that clear? They are called as connection oriented protocol. There must be no loss of data, and both the data sent by C1 must be received in C2. And okay, C2, that is, C2, when C2 sends the data, it must be received by C1. Is that clear, my dear friends? This is called as connection oriented protocol. It must definitely be, okay, connected. Okay, where this is one kind of, okay. The other kind of connection is if you are doing this, YouTube live. Okay, if you're doing YouTube live, okay, is it guaranteed that YouTube can send this data to all the person who is actually seeing? Is it possible to send? No, right? It means that they are called as connectionless protocol. It means it cannot guarantee, right? Say for example, computer one will send the data, okay, send the data not to one person. It is not connected permanently to one person, rather it will actually do the broadcasting. They are called as, okay, broadcast messages. Okay, broadcast, it is sending for all, and computer one is not really bothered if the computers on this particular network actually receives it or not. If it is received, it is good. If it is not received, it is okay, because I'm not bothered, because this requires connection, and lot of taking care has to be done over here. Whereas if you want to do a broadcast, you will make use of a protocol called as UDP, where I'm not taking care of whether it is received or not. I'm just broadcasting. If you're received, it's okay, else I don't want to. Okay, so for all broadcasting kind of messages and all that, you basically write code in UDP. And if you want a permanent connection to be established between two computers, then you basically make use of a TCP IP protocol. Is that clear, guys? Did you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying actually? Hello, right? Did you understand the difference? I'm just giving you a layman's definitions, okay? The definition that actually goes more deeper and more detail into it. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you, right? So okay, now what do you mean by this three-way handshake? Again, this is not required for Python. All these things are really not required for Python, because Python handles it everything very clearly. And but I'm just giving you some information, because when I teach you client server programming, you'll have real fun. Okay, so three-way handshake is, firstly what happens is that, assume this is your server. Okay, this is your server and this is your client. Okay, assume this is your server and this is your client. Okay, so first client will tell the server that, look boss, I want to actually connect with you, right? He'll say, I want to connect with you. So the server, what he will do, if he has accepted this connection, he'll say, okay boss, I have received your connection. He'll actually acknowledge that. Okay, so once he gets that, then he will also say, yes boss, even I have received your message. Okay, so this is called as your three-way handshake. Did you understand? This is called as your three-way handshake. Both are handshaking and saying that, yes boss, I have received your communication, you have received my communication, let's start connecting and let's start chatting. Did you understand? This is called as three-way communication, three-way handshake. Okay, you can go and learn more about it. It's a very interesting topic, but I just gave you a very basic understanding of how it works. So now when you go and read this about networking, you will understand it very clearly. Did you understand? So three-way handshake is basically used to acknowledge between two computers to say that both are connected, and now we are ready to actually go and start communicating with each other. This is called as three-way handshake. Is that clear? Till here, is that clear, my dear friends? Hello guys, did you understand till here? Okay, am I fast, very slow, moderate, not interesting, difficult? Okay, so what do you feel? What do you feel? Okay, did you understand some basic concepts at least? Okay, did you learn something new if you hadn't, if you had not learned all this earlier? Okay, some basic concepts did you at least learn? Okay, so okay, let me just recall whatever we learned now, so that this is important. First one, do you know what do you mean by an IP address? Do you know what do you mean by an IP address? Yes, just say yes in the chat box. If no, say no in the chat box. Okay, IP address, right? Next, do you know what do you mean by port? A port. What do you mean by port? Okay, right. So what do you mean by a MAC address? What do you mean by MAC address? Okay. Now, what do you mean by protocol? What do you mean by protocol? Okay. Now, what do you mean by TCP/IP and UDP? TCP/IP and UDP. Okay. So TCP/IP is called as what kind of protocol? What kind of protocol is it? What kind of protocol is it, my dear friends? Tell me quickly. What kind of protocol? Guys, what kind of, it is called as connection oriented protocol. Okay, so what do you mean by what kind of protocol is UDP, or what kind of protocol is UDP? It is called as connectionless protocol. Okay, but I want to just give you one more warning over here. Even using UDP, there are methods supported in Python library where you can make UDP also as a connection oriented protocol. If you are interested, if you want to use for connection oriented protocol, if you want to make use of UDP, yes, there are functions available, but normally nobody uses it. Okay, no. So you can use connectionless protocol, connection oriented protocol using TCP. You can make connectionless protocol using TCP. Similarly, you can make connection oriented using UDP, connection less using UDP. Both are possible, but basically TCP is used or designed for connection oriented kind of client server programming, and UDP is used for connectionless client server programming. Clear, guys? Is that clear? Okay, so shall we see how to do this? Shall I? Okay, so towards the end, I think you will be writing a client server chat program also. Okay, and you can take it further after the course. You can take it further and improve it more. Okay, now shall we proceed? Okay, now, but guys, I just want to give you one more suggestion before proceeding with the course today. I mean, proceeding with the class today. If possible, if you are ever getting a chance to make a career in network programming, okay, network programming, then you would be very, very lucky enough, because network programming career is really awesome. Because I have worked on network programming for a lot of projects. I've worked on network programming. It is really fun to actually work with network programming, my dear friends. Okay, and especially if you get a job as a C programmer working on network programming, you will really love your work. Okay, that's the kind of thing, right? So, but I'm not talking about how is the scope. I'm telling the world is all into networking, so there is a huge scope actually. Okay, that's what I'm saying to you, right? So I'm not talking about networking, okay, that you do in Jetking or IAHT or some kind of hardware and networking. I'm not talking about hardware and networking concept. I'm talking about network programming, either using C or Java or Python or okay, any other languages, right? So you'll have to do programming for connecting two devices, such kind of thing. It's really good. You'll have fun, right? Okay, right. So let us start off this, right? Okay, so let me write, let me show this program to you. So guys, so what is this first program? What is this program called as, my dear friends? TCP server.py. It is a server program. It is a, put that in the chat box. It is a hello, it is a server program, correct? No, it is a server program. Okay, so now, so I am initializing two things. What is it? One is the host. It means the host. By the way, what do you mean by loopback address? Yeah, I forgot to tell you. What do you mean by loopback address, my dear friends? Loopback address 127.0.0.1 is called as loopback address, isn't it? Have you heard of this, by the way? Have you heard of loopback address? Have you heard of loopback address, my dear friends? No? Have you not heard of loopback address? Okay, so there are a lot of memes and all on Instagram and all when it comes to this loopback address. Okay, so 127.0.0.1. No one knows about loopback address. Okay, right. Now, loopback address is called as my own address. It's called as my own address. No, it is not MAC address. Okay, it is an IP address. It is an IP address. It is an IP address with the value of 127.0.0.1. Okay, it means that my own address. Okay, now do I have two computers over here? Do I have two computers over here? Tell me. I have only one computer with me now, correct? No? Yes or no? I have only one computer, correct? Now I want to, okay, I want to demonstrate client server programming. Okay, we know that client server programming will happen on two computers, correct? So we will have to connect these two computers. Okay, we'll have to connect these two computers. Okay, and then do communication and all that. But I don't have two computers, I have only one computer, and I want to run my client and server both on one computer. How will I do? How will I do, my dear friends? Tell me. Okay, tell me. So both server and client are both are on my same computer. Server is also running here. Okay, client is also running here. Okay, and client and server both has to connect with each other, isn't it? So client has to tell to whom, which server it has to connect, and server has to say as to which client it has to send back the address and all that. Correct? No? So in this case, what we do is we use the IP address as 127.0.0.1, which indicates that this client is connecting to the server which is there on the same computer. That is called as loop back. Okay, its own address. Did you understand? Hello guys, did you understand what I'm saying? Hello, did you understand? If there are two computers, what will you do? See here, there is one computer here, there is one computer here. Okay, this is your server, this is your client. In that case, this will have two addresses, one IP addresses, 168.1.100, and this will be 192.168.1.101 or something like that. Okay, so this client, if suppose he wants to connect to the server, he has to say that boss connect to 192.168.1.100, isn't it? Okay, he will have to specify this address in the program. He has to specify this address, whereas this client and server both are running on the same computer. Okay, it is a different program, this is a different program, two different processes running on the same computer. In that case, what is that he has to say to the operating system? He has to tell to the operating system that boss, I want to connect to the server which is running on my own machine, and which is at my own machine, that is the same machine. So to identify the computer, the moment you say 127.0.0.1, it indicates to the operating system that you are referring to the same computer on which this program is running. Is that clear? Guys, do you understand this? So now what I'm going to do is I am going to run both this client and server on my own computer, both, and I'll show you how this client and server communication is happening. And for that I will make use of this address 127.0.0.1, which is basically called as a loop back address. Okay, it is very famously called as loop back address, which means that my own address. Okay, clear? Shall I proceed now? Shall I proceed now, my dear friends? Hello? Okay, now. Okay, so before proceeding, is there any doubt? Just put that in the chat box. Do you have any doubt? Put that in the chat box, my dear friends. Shall I proceed further? Shall I proceed? Okay, okay, cool. Now what will happen here? Listen. Okay, now listen, my dear friends. Okay, slowly I'm going to explain. Listen to me. Okay, so one, you will have this server over here, SC server, and this is your client before getting into the program, right? Now you know what the server has to do to get connected to this, when if the client has to do, especially in TCP, right? So first thing is that if the client and the server both has to communicate with each other, then both has to agree on a similar point. Okay, so it'll create a point, saying that this is the point on which I would start communicating. Okay, it's a kind of object. It is an object which is identifying a communication point. Okay, okay boss, you are communicating using this object. Okay, I'm communicating with this object right now. So this point is created using, what this point is called as, what, any idea? This point is called as socket. This point is called as socket, an end connection. Okay, this is called as an end connection. It says, okay, it both will create a point and say, boss, we are ready to communicate on this point. Okay, this is called as your socket point. Hello, hello, yes, no, hello, yes, no. Okay, so here you will say what is the IP address you will use, or what kind of protocol you need and all that, right? So you will say, boss, I want to use a TCP protocol, I am using IPv4 and I will make use of TCP protocol. So he will say, okay boss, even I am making use of IPv4 address. Okay, and I'm also making use of TCP protocol. Okay, so this is the object, so both will start getting connected. Okay, so a point will be created in a virtual point. Is that clear? Is that clear? Hello guys, is that clear? Not clear? Clear, not clear? Any doubt? Put that in the chat box. If you have any doubt, put that in the chat box. Okay, is that clear? Shall I proceed further? Shall I proceed further? Just say proceed in the chat box. Okay, shall I proceed further? Just say proceed in the chat box. Okay, and now you know what the server will do? Server will say bind. Server will call bind. Okay, you know what do you mean by bind? For binding, he will take two things. One is the IP address he will take. He will take one IP address and he'll take the port number. Okay, he will bind. You know what do you mean by bind over here? By saying bind, he is informing to all the processes running in the CPU that, see boss, I am the server and I am, bound to this particular IP address, and this is my port number. So if anyone wants to connect with me, then use this IP address and this port number, and you will be able to connect with me. That is called as the binding, correct? Because the client has to know where the server is running, isn't it, my dear friends? Yes or no? Tell me. The client has to know to which server I have to connect. So each and every server has to use this bind, saying that, look boss, this is my IP address and my port number is this. Okay, so if you want to connect with me, use this combination of IP address and port number. Did you understand? It is like placing the board on the flat. Okay, you are placing the board on the flat, saying that 1024 bar 4, 1024 bar 1, you are just posting so that the postman comes, he will know where to go and connect exactly. That is called as the bind. Is that okay, guys? Is that okay? Right? And after that, what he will do after binding is that he will say listen. Okay, and he will say to how many clients he can actually connect. Okay, so it means that now listen says that, okay boss, I am now ready, so whoever whichever clients wants to connect to me, you can actually connect, I am listening to you. Is that okay? He starts listening to the person. Is that okay? So he says that, boss, I am actually listening, and this 5 will tell you how many maximum clients can he, will he be able to access to, or to how many clients he can actually serve right now. So this is a number of clients that he can actually communicate with. Okay, so how many? So this is called as a 5. Okay, and one more thing, it is not simultaneously. Okay, one after the other. Did you understand? One after the other. It is not simultaneously, it is one after the other. Did you understand this? So the maximum client that this server can handle is only 5. Okay, so it means that, okay, now you might ask me, client 1 comes, client 2 comes, okay, client 3 comes, client 4 comes, client 5 comes, and client 6 comes. You know what happens? The server will put that into a queue. He'll put that into a queue. Client 1, okay, first queue, then second member, then third member, then C4, and then C5. He'll put that into a queue. But C6 will not be taken because the maximum specified is only 5. Okay, only once this fellow dies off or he finishes, only then C6 will be taken. So at a given moment of time, this server can only take, okay, 5 clients as part of its queue. Did you understand? Okay, so you'll have to wait, okay, until C1 completes. You'll have to wait because this is connection oriented protocol. Clear? Not clear? Guys, clear? Not clear? Guys, clear? Not clear? Or simply saying understood? Is that clear? Did you understand? Okay, now after the listen, what he will do is he will actually say accept. He'll say accept. You know what do you mean by accept? Accept means that I have accepted your connection. Okay, and he will give one more socket connection over here, and using this both will start connecting. So that he will read it, he will read the message from the client, and then he will again write it back to the client. Okay, now right, so this is the normal coding that is done in any programming languages when it comes to TCP. Only thing is the function name may differ. Okay, so these are the function names used in C language because that is the core socket programming, right? So Java, Python and all will slightly change the names. Okay, though it keeps, sometimes it keeps the same, but slightly it will also try to change the names. Okay, so having said that, now coming to the client side. So what will he do? He'll say socket, that is he's ready for connecting with the particular server on this IP address and using the particular protocol, and then he will say connect. He will say connect. Okay, now directly what will happen when he say connects? Okay, he goes and he actually he goes to connect with this particular server, and the server will put this client into the listen queue. Okay, and then what happens, this is the place when once he says okay boss, I've got your message, and then he will say okay boss, even I've got your message, three-way handshake will happen, and that is when accept will accept this client and get a new socket and then start doing the reading and writing. So he will write. Okay, he will write so that he will get the request, and then he will reply back to the client. Okay, he will read this. Did you understand? Okay, so client can either write so that the server will read it, and after reading he will give the response by saying write so that the client will actually read. Did you understand? So this is called as three-way handshake over here. Hello guys, did you understand? Okay, these are the three functions that we are going to see now in a TCP server and a client. Shall we go and see? Did everyone understand this? Difficult, easy, what do you feel? Okay, interesting, no? It's very interesting, right? Okay, so Amara Sharad, what do you want me to repeat? Yeah, what do you want me to repeat? Very simple. Okay, socket is used for creating an endpoint, and then bind is used to tell the entire clients that, see boss, I am at this particular IP address and port number, you can connect with me. And then listen says to how many people I can actually listen, and I'm ready to listen, you can connect with me. And then once the three-way handshake happens, what happens is the server will say I have accepted your connection, and then we'll get a socket. I'll show that to you. Okay, and then the reading and writing between the client and server will happen. Okay, so in the client side, you have to create a socket, and then you will have to call the connect function, so that this connect will go and try to connect with the server. And once you say connect, so the client will go and sit in this queue, and if the moment your time comes, the three-way handshake will happen, and then the server will say accept, and then you can actually, once it accepts, you can write or read from the server. So your reading and writing will happen from here. So if you want to do the reading and writing, okay, this part, if you want to do this part, this part must be over, this part must be successful. So I told you about three-way handshake. That three-way handshake will happen within these function calls. Is that okay? These function calls, do you understand, my dear friends? The three-way handshake will happen at this. So once three-way handshake happens, only you will be able to do the communication between the client and the server. Okay, right guys? Shall I show the code to you now? Shall I show the code to you guys? Okay, okay, now listen to the, see the code now. Okay, now, so okay, so this is the server. So do I have a IP address here? Yes, no, keep answering my question. Do I have an IP address that I've stored it as host? Do I have a port number? Do I have a port number? Okay, the port number is 2000. Okay, so the server will be running at this IP address and at this port. Okay, now, so create a socket as communication medium. Okay, so socket dot, so you don't forget to import this module socket. This module have all the functions and all the constants and all such kind of details related to the socket programming. Sometimes client server programming is also called as socket programming. Okay, now, so then I'll call this socket function to create that endpoint. Do you remember I told you about one second? You remember I told you about socket? First socket function has to be called. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, did you see that socket function is called? And I've passed the two parameters over here. One is telling that what kind of address family you use. So basically AF underscore inet say means that I'm using an IPv4 address family. And then sock stream says that I am making use of a TCP protocol. Okay, so for UDP, you basically make use of dgram. I'll show you that. So when you say sock underscore stream, it means that I am making use of a connection oriented protocol or a stream protocol, or you can say, you can consider it as a TCP protocol. Is that clear? Is this line clear? Hello guys, is that clear? Line clear? So once you create a socket, you get an object. Okay, so using which this becomes your endpoint. Using this, you can communicate with the client now. Is that clear? First is socket function. Okay, now next one is let the clients know who and where the server is bound to. You have to tell the clients that where is your server present, isn't it? For that, you make use of the function bind. I told you bind, you will pass two things. What is that? One is the IP address and the port, correct? No, so that has been passed as a tuple over here in Python. Did you see that? So you say bind, the you using the socket object, you say yes dot bind. Is that clear? Is this line clear? Your the server is binding, saying that this bind function is telling to the entire all the processes on your computer and outside world that I am the process which is running on this particular IP address using this port number. So if anyone wants to connect to me, you can connect using this particular pair 127.0.0.1 and 2000. So I'll be here. Okay, so I've made use of 127.0.0.1 because I am running the I am running the server and client both on the same machine. That is the reason, because I want to show that practically to you. Okay, clear guys? Is bind clear? Is it becoming difficult to you? Is it difficult or easy, or what do you feel? Interesting? What is that? Whatever it is, can you please put that in the chat box, my dear friends, quickly? Hello. Okay, interesting. Okay, interesting. Okay, interesting. Right, easy, interesting. Okay, now, okay, so now if you once you get into networking, it will be more interesting, my dear friends. Okay, now, so did you see this listen over here? Okay, so how many clients is the server ready to respond? I've just given one because I'm just having one client for now, in my example. That is the reason. And then what I say after listening, I'm basically accepting it. I told I'll be accepting it. So when I accept it, what I'm getting, when I accept, I will get to know the client and the client's address. I'll get to know. Okay, so I'll print that on to you and show it to you over here. Okay, did you see that my client is from 127.0.0.1? Okay, if you see the address that I've received, okay, the address that I've received, if you see, okay, it is containing what, the client address 127.0.0. It is the same machine, okay, and running on the port number 49305. It is the my client is running in this particular port number. Okay, so now, so accept means it is giving me information about the client from where I've got the connection request. Is that clear, guys? Understood? Not understood? Understood? Not understood? I listened, and now the client has connected to me, okay, and it has accepted it, and it is giving me client's details. It is giving me client's details. Okay, it is a client's socket now. Whatever I've got now here is client's socket, right? Because I want to write it to the client. No, that is the thing. Okay, now so what I'll do next is that, now what I'm doing, okay, I want to now write a message to the client. So what is that I'm saying? I'm sending. Okay, did you see this function? So I am basically sending a message saying that, hello buddy, thanks for connecting, bye, and closing the connection. Is that okay? I'm sending it to the client. I'm saying that I'm sending. Okay, right? Yeah, did you understand this? So here in the example, I wrote it as write or read. Okay, where is it? Here I wrote it as read or write or whatever it is. Okay, so it is nothing but in Python it is send. Okay, so what I told you was, this is in C programming language. I told you, right, this is basically in C programming language, and this becomes the base. Even Python will make use of the same thing only. Underlying, if you see the library, right? Okay, the Python also will make use of this, but on the wrapper for us it is giving the function as send. Is that clear? Right, so send function is used to send some data. Okay, so now did you understand this? Hello buddy, thanks for connecting, bye, it will say, and it will close the connection. So shall we see the client, how it is working? Okay, you saw the server. Now I'm showing you the client. So what is client doing here? First is what, need server name and port number to connect, isn't it? I want the server name and port number to connect, no, in the client. Are you understanding or not? Are you guys understanding or not? Okay, fine. So did you see that? Again, I am creating a socket connection. Okay, and I'm also saying that, boss, I'm using this, AF family of IP addresses, and I'm making use of a TCP address over here, and I created an endpoint. Okay, and then what am I doing? I'm connecting it. I'm connecting. To whom am I connecting? Okay, see here, to whom am I connecting? I'm connecting to the server, okay, which is there in IP address 127.0.1, and which is running in the on the port 2000. Did you see that? I'm connecting to that server. Hello, yes or no? Because without saying which IP address and which port number, how will this client connect to whom should it connect to? The operating system has to send this connection to some server, no? So that is why these IP addresses needed. Did you understand this? IP address and port number combination, I'll be connecting, I'll use it in the connect. So I'm saying connect it to the server which is bound with this IP address and this port number. Clear, guys? Is that clear? Okay, now once connection happens, I told you, this fellow is sending a message. This fellow is sending a message, hello buddy, thanks for connecting, bye, he's saying. So immediately what will he say? Actually, he will say receive it. He will receive it. Correct, guys? Did you see that? He is receiving it. Okay, and what is 1024 saying? 1024 says it can maximum receive 1024 bytes. Okay, it is saying 1024 bytes. I just randomly wrote it. You can write whatever, how many ever byte you want, you can actually write it. Okay, and whatever it receives, it would be stored in the message over here. After receiving it, it will store that in the message over here. Clear? This is client. In the server you said send, and in the client you are saying receive, and you are receiving so many bytes, and you are actually storing it into message. Right, now if there was a message, it means if the message was not empty, then what will you do? If you remember that we are sending the binary form of this message, isn't it? You are sending the binary form of this message because it has to go in the binary format when it is actually going through a network, right? No, so therefore I will have to decode it. Okay, I will have to decode it, and I will print it, message from server. Okay, so why am I calling receive once again? Because who knows if the server sends more than 1024 bytes, isn't it? In that case, I will have to keep receiving it again and again until there is no message from the server. That is why I have put a while message over here. Did you understand? Okay, in my program I'm not sending 1024 bytes, it is okay. But what if I have a server which is sending more data than 1024? Correct, no? At a time I can only receive 1024 bytes, right? So what I do is I put this into a while loop, and I keep on receiving, and I'll see whether there is a message. Okay, then print that, again receive it. Is there a message? Then receive it. Is there a message? Then receive it. Okay, it keeps on receiving, and until there is empty message, it keeps on receiving, and then even it will close the connection. Is that clear, guys? Did you understand how it works? Shall I show this practically to you? Shall I show this practically to you? Hello, shall I show this practically to you? Okay, so Are you able to see my terminal? Are you able to see my terminal? Okay. Okay. So I will open one more shell. Okay. I'll open one more tab of the shell. Okay. So how many shells are there? Did you see? There are two shells. See that? There are two shells. Okay. So now let me run this server code, TCP server. TCP server. Did you see that? It is the same code, isn't it? It is the same code, correct? No? Right. So I'm running this first because server has to run. No? Okay. It is running. Can you tell me where is it waiting now? Can you tell me at which function it is waiting now, my dear friends? Socket over, bind over. Now it is waiting at what? It is waiting. It is not doing anything. Did you see that? It is waiting at listen. Exactly. Now it is waiting at listen. Okay. So it means that I have to ask some client to connect, isn't it? So I don't know what was the name. TCP client. Okay. Python 3. Now the client will run. Okay. Now what will the client do? Client will connect. In that case, when it connects, immediately that listen will get called and then it will accept. Then the three-way handshake will happen and then both will start responding, right? So who will send the message first? Tell me before running. I want to ask you who will send the message first. Who will send the message first? Yeah. I showed the code. No. Yeah. Server will send. What will he say? Hi buddy. Thanks for connecting. Bye. He will say. And he will receive it and he will print it. I showed you, no, he will receive it and he will print it. See here, he will receive it from the server and he will print it, isn't it? Yes or no? Right. Okay, so he received it. Now we'll see this. Do you see? He was waiting earlier. Okay, now he said, my client is from so and so. Okay, he has got this port number. By default, he has taken the port number for that particular client. And immediately after he got the connection, he sent that message, which is received by the client. Did you see that? So message from server is, hello buddy, thanks for connecting, bye. Okay, did you see this? This message was written where? This message was, given in the server. Now the client has taken it and it is printing printing on the screen. Guys, is it difficult? Not interested? What do you feel? How is it? Are you understanding this or not? Okay, did you understand? Okay, two processors run over here. Okay, so if you are running on two different computers, only thing is that you have to change the IP address. That's all. Shall I go to the next program now? Shall I go to the next program, my dear friends? Hello? We'll go to the next program. Yeah. Okay. What is this called as? What is this called as? Okay. It is basically a where is this? Okay. It is a UDP server. It is a UDP server. Okay. Similarly, you have a local IP. Okay. So I've just given a local port here. Okay. This is the buffer size. Earlier, I just hard coded there. Here, I'm just writing it as 102. You know what do you mean by buffer size? Buffer size is how much of message I can actually receive or how much of message I can actually send. That is called as the buffer size. Okay. There I directly wrote it. Here, I'm just putting that into a variable so that it looks more professional. Okay. And then did you see that there I directly sent a string? Now I'm just putting that into a variable saying that the message that I'm sending to the client is what, hello UDP client. So if you see in this previous program, I just directly wrote it. If you see here, I directly wrote it. So instead of writing it directly, I'm just putting it into a variable. That's the only difference. Do you see that? Hello guys, is that okay? Okay, not okay. Okay. Now then what am I doing? I'm saying I'm creating a datagram socket. So I'm creating a socket over here. Did you see the difference? I'm using sock dgram. Dgram means it is for connectionless protocol. Hello. Okay. It is a UDP, connectionless protocol. In the earlier thing, what is that I had written? I written sock stream. I had written sock stream over here. Okay. And then what am I doing? I'm actually saying bind. It means that I am a server which is on so and so particular, what is that? I am running on this IP address and this local port. This IP address and this local port. I'm a UDP server which is running in this particular IP address and the local port. Is that clear? It is doing a bind. Hello guys, is that okay? I'm doing a bind. Okay. Now then I'll say print UDP server is up and listening. Okay. And now what will happen here is that, okay, so while true and there is no listen and all those because it is a connectionless protocol. Okay. So then what we'll do is, okay, it will start taking all the messages that comes from a particular client. Whoever connects first, it will actually take the message from that and it will start printing. So here in UDP, okay, socket, in the UDP server socket, right? No. So what is the method that I'm using for UDP? I'm using it as receive from. Did you see that the difference in the function name? Okay, it is called as receive from. This is the same function used even in C language also. In C also it is the same function. Okay, and I'm saying how much I can receive, 1024 bytes. In the previous program I directly wrote 1024. Here I just put it in the variable, and I'm just putting it over here. Both are same. Okay, so but this is good because always you'll have to put that into a variable, and you'll have to give it over here. It looks more professional, and it is if suppose you are using this buffer size in multiple places, you don't need to change it everywhere. Rather, you can only change it in one place, and that will get reflected everywhere. Okay, did you understand what I told you right now? Just now I told you something. Did you understand? Okay, why I write buffer size into into a variable? Okay, if suppose I'm using this buffer size in multiple places, I don't need to change it everywhere. If suppose I would have written 1024 everywhere, then I will have to change it everywhere. Rather, if I put it in one variable, and if I want to change it, right, I can change it in only one place. Okay, so I will receive it, and it will tell me the message and the address from where I got it, and then I will decode the message, and I'm actually printing that, and I'm again sending one more message to the client. Okay, so what is the message that I have to send to the client? It is hello UDP client, and then to which address? Okay, so the address we will get here when the client is connecting to us. Okay, so he will also send the address along with it, so we'll get the client's address. So to this address I am sending the message, okay, that I have intended to spin. I'll just say hello UDP client. Is that clear, guys? Hello. Okay, you'll have to practice on it. I can only tell you that what are all things that are happening over here. You'll have to practice. Okay, hello, yes, no, right? If you can really write such kind of, in especially freshers, they'll only ask you to write a normal client server programming. If you can write these two programs, trust me, my dear friends, they would really love it. Okay, so shall we see the client now? Okay, so client is also very simple. Okay, so it connects a socket, and then it is basically sending a message to the server. Okay, it says send to some message it is sending to server. What is the message? Okay, it is telling hello UDP server. This is the message. Okay, and to the server address port. What is the server address port? It is nothing but a tuple which is okay containing an IP address and the port number where the server is running. Correct. So it is send to means send this message to the server which is running in this particular IP address and port number, a combination. Okay, and he will send it. So when he does send to, okay, that would be received in receive from, and then he will actually do send to, which will be received in receive from over here. Do you see that? Then he will receive it over here, and then he will print it on the screen. He will print the server address also. Is that clear? Very difficult or easy or whatever it? What do you feel? Guys, do you understand? Hello, guys, do you understand? Okay. Hello, tell me, do you understand this? First, he will do send to. He will do send to. Did you see that? Client is telling send to. So that will be first received here by using receive from. Okay. And while saying receive from, he will know from which client it has come. The address would be here. He'll get that. Okay. Address and then message will be there. So he will print that message, and then he will reply to the client using send to. Okay, what message he wants to reply, that is the first parameter. Second one is the client address that he has got here. Okay, he will send it to this particular address, that is the client address. Okay, so then whatever he got it from the server, he'll actually receive from, and he'll get the server's address, which he will print it on the screen by decoding, and he'll print the server address. That's all. Hello, is that okay? Clear, guys? Guys, is that clear? Not clear? Okay, it is a UDP server and a client. Okay, so shall I show that practically to you? Server up and listening. Okay, server is up and listening. Now let me run this Python 3 UDP client. Okay, so yeah, so did you see that? Hello UDP server. Okay, and it has got he has just sent this hello UDP server, and what is happening? So this guy said hello UDP client, and he has got this response from this particular IP. Okay, so but I think you can connect once again. Let me see. Let me connect. He's not stopping. He's not closing, I feel. Okay, UDP client. Let me run this once again. Yeah. So the server is responding to multiple clients. Did you see that, my dear friends? The server is waiting for the next client over here. Okay. So if you can say close over here, like we told in the previous program. Okay. So I think I have not done a close. Did you see that? I have not put a close over here. Did you see that in the here? I did a close, right? So if I would have put a close, then the server would have closed actually. Did you see that? Hello guys. Is that okay? So where is it here? If I would have put a close, it would have closed the connection. Is that clear? Hello? Guys, you understand? Okay. Easy, difficult? Easy, difficult? Okay. So shall we run one file server? Okay. So what is the server doing? Let me just check. Okay. I'm not sure what this file server is doing. Okay. So Okay, let me run this file server and we'll get to know what it is doing. Okay, shall we run this and then explain what is happening over here? Is that clear, guys? Okay, so now let me run that code. Okay, let me run this file server. Okay, so file server, I'm not sure what is the input we have to give. Okay, let me run the file client. Okay, okay. So probably it is asking me to enter a particular file name, and that file would be taken by the server, and it will print. Let me see that. Okay, let me see. I forgot what I have done here. Let me see. I'm giving a file name. Okay, TCP client.py. Is that okay, guys? Okay, client is asking me to enter a file name. Okay, no, so I'm just giving this file name. Let us see what happens. Okay, so file does not exist. It says file does not exist. TCP client, it exists, no? Why it says file does not exist? Okay, so let me create, let me see what the server says. File name received from client is TCP client. Okay, not sure what is happening. Let me create one more, 1.txt or something. Vi 1.txt. I'm creating a file, okay, 1.txt, and I'm just writing something in this. Hello buddy, how are you? Hello buddy, how are you? Okay, now let me run this client once again. Let me run the server first. Python 3 file server.py. Okay, so Python 3 file client.py. It is asking me to enter a file name. Enter. Oh, okay. So I think it is not taking py files. It is only taking this text files. Okay. Did you see what is happening over here? So I entered this 1.txt. I think probably the server has taken that file. It has opened the file that is there, 1.txt. It has read the data and it has given the data to the client, and the client will take it and it will actually print it on the screen. Did you understand? Guys, do you understand this? What is happening here? Hi guys, did you understand what is happening? I think you will have to change the code for making it to work for any kind of files. Okay, so what is happening? Can you tell me? First thing. So first I'm running the server and then I'm running the client. So the server is waiting for the client to give one file name. So then when I run the client, okay, let me show this. Shall I run this once again for you? Shall I run this once again for you so that you'll understand? Okay, so here Python 3, I'll say file server.py. It is running now. Okay, it is running. I don't know what is happening in the code. We'll see that later. For now, I'm running the server. Okay, so can you see the server is running? Okay, now I will run the client. Okay, sorry, what was that? Python 3 file client.py. Okay, so I'm running the client. Now what is the client asking me for? What is the client asking me? Can you tell me? So first let us this server. Okay, server is still waiting. What is the client asking me? Client is telling me, boss, send me a file name. Okay, I'll say, okay, boss, I'm giving a file name. Okay, so when I give a file name, immediately what it says, what 1.txt, it is not existing. Okay, what happened? Did it remove this file? It is not there. It is there, right? So there is some problem with this. What is happening? We'll have to debug. 1 minute. Connection refused. We'll have to connect it. Oh, it's already getting the file name is received. Guys, let me run it once again. Okay, there is some bug in the program. Already in use. Bind. Okay, let me just terminate this process. I'll run this once again. Okay. Python 3 file server.py. It is running. Okay. Now Python 3 file client.py. Okay. So let me use 1.txt. Okay. So what happened here? So file client is asking me for a file. It said 1.txt and the file name is given to the server. Server will take the file name. He will open the file 1.txt, read the content and send that content back to the client. Did you understand this? What is happening over here? Did you understand what is happening over here? But yes, this is not free of bug. Okay, I think there is a bug over here. Okay, so let me check that out, or if you're interested you can go and see how it is working. Okay, but did you understand the concept here? there is definitely a bug on in this particular code. We'll have to check out what is that and all that. But did you understand the basic how it is working? Okay, did you understand? Yes or no? Okay, now shall we see the code? What is happening over there? We'll see the code. Okay. Okay, so file server. First is what? Keep telling me if you have understood this line. Okay, import socket. Understood? Just say yes in the chat box. Okay, so host and port you're connecting using socket. Okay, so by default it takes, you know, so the addresses by default addresses, but it is not the right way to do this. Okay, you should always mention the IP family, and then the what is that, the protocol that you are using, right? But I just showed you that even this is possible. Okay, and I'm creating a tuple of host and port, and the server is binding at this particular host and port. It is listening to a particular client, and only one particular client, and then it says accept. Is that okay? It will say accept. Hello, yes or no? It says accept. Did you understand? Okay, so three-way handshake happened over here, and the client address and the client's socket we will get over here, and then it will receive. So you remember the client will ask me for the data, that is the file name. So that file name is received over here. Okay, no, I think there is something problem with the bug over here. We'll have to check. Okay, let us not bother for now. But you understand? It will receive the file name. Okay, that is stored over here, and then I will decode that file name, because that file name has come in binary format. I will decode it and I'll put it into a F name. And what will I do? The file name received from client is so and so. So what am I doing now? I'll open that file name. I will read that file, and I will then whatever file data was there in that file, I will read it into a data and send it to the client, and then say file data sent to the client, and then say close. Did you see this, guys? Hello, did you understand this? Accept the connection, receive the data from the client, open the file name, and then send the data to the client. Okay, so what is happening in the client now? Client will do the same thing. Socket, he is connecting with this particular IP address and port number. Then he will ask us to enter the file name. So we are actually entering the file name over here. Okay, so which will be encoded and sent in the binary format. Okay, so he will send it to the, he will use a send to send it to the server, and the server will actually, what he will do, he will open the file, he will actually read the entire data from there, and he will send it to the client, which will be received using receive function, and then he will decode it and he will print it on the screen, and he will close the connection. Is that clear, guys? Is that clear? Hello, easy, difficult? Is it difficult? Yeah, guys, honestly tell me, is it easy, difficult, your understanding, or am I fast, or what do you think? What is running in your mind, guys? I just wanted to know, honestly I'm asking you, did you understand this clearly? Okay, are you understanding the different functions, send, receive, and all those? Interesting, sir, but need more practice. Seriously, you definitely need more practice. Without practice, you will not. Okay, now, so can you do this as your assignment? Okay, I mean, in the sense, I will show how the code is working, but you should go through the code by yourself. Can you do that? Okay, two-way communication. Let me run this and see what will happen over here. Is that okay? Will you do that, guys? Okay, so let me run that code. Okay, so server code. Okay, did you see that the server is now running? Hello, the server is running now. Python 3 client. Okay, so now it says enter your message to the server. I'll say hi buddy, hi server. Okay, who is typing this? Who is typing this? Who is typing this, my dear friends? Guys, tell me who is typing. Client. Very good, client is typing. I said hi server. Okay, so now let us see what is happening in the server. So server says, okay, server has got the message. Client says hi server. What do you wish to say to the client? Tell me. Hi client. I'll say enter. So let me see if the yeah, did you see that the message from server? Hi client. Now enter your message to server. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, client is sending. So now the client says, what are you doing? So what do you wish to say to the client? I am waiting for your message. Okay, now message from server. I am waiting for your message. Enter the message to server. So good. Glad to know. But why are you waiting? But why are you waiting? Okay, so now the server says, client will say, so good, glad to know, but why are you waiting? So what do you wish to say to the client? Okay, so because because I love you, right? No, so he says, okay. Okay, so do you at least did you get to know this? Feels like I'm talking to myself. Yeah, okay, right. Do you understand this right now, guys? Hello, did you understand? Okay, so you can do this on two different computers so that you will, chat. Okay, hello, do you understand? Client and server is actually doing it. Did you understand this, guys? Okay, so can you actually go and check how I've done this, and okay, so you will be able to do it. Okay, try to do it on two different computers. Use a Ethernet cable or use your Wi-Fi also. It works. Okay, so just do it. You will be able to understand. That's all. Okay, fine. So I've written a very simple program. Okay, so I've written a simple. So by the way, what? Okay, if suppose you are using this, if you are running this code on two different computers, what will you change? What will you change, my dear friends? Tell me. You have to change the IP address here. Correct? No, you have to say which IP address. Okay, and I've written a very simple program using Python to find your own IP address. Okay, using the method get host by name, it will give you the IP address. That's all. It is just a standard function. Okay, I think I've done with this lesson, guys. Did you enjoy today's lesson? Did you enjoy today's lesson, my dear friends? Hello, guys. Did you enjoy the session? Okay, so do you want the do you want the link? Do you want the link for this lesson? Okay, so we have again only two more small, very small lessons, very small lessons. Okay, I think all complicated lessons are over. Very small lessons are there. Okay, those lessons I personally don't like because there is nothing to learn in it. Okay, so it's all, I mean, there is nothing to even teach also in that much more. So we'll do that in the next week. Is that clear, guys? So do you want the link, by the way? So I will send the link. You want it, I'll send you, because it was easy, right? You still want the link? Sir, is network programming something related to embedded field? Yeah, all embedded devices will make use of network programming, Ankur. All network devices uses, okay. Even you can use it in your web development also. Networking is very huge. It is used in a lot of, okay, but if you go to embedded field, you will start working on the hardware level. That is, you will start working on device drivers and all that. Okay, guys, I will send you the link for this today's lesson. Okay, so meet you on Monday with small lessons. Okay. Easy to prepare and revise. Harshita Patil, it would be really very easy. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I think you will be able to pass the test. Don't worry about it. Okay, right, fine. Chalo, fine, guys. So meet you on Monday. Okay, so until then, good night. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care, guys. Bye bye. See you. Bye. Love you all so much.